This is the case of the missing Skelton brothers Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner, who went missing in 2010. Vanished, the disappearance of the Skelton brothers. Thanksgiving Day, 2010. Andrew, age 9, Alexander, age 7, and Tanner, age 5, were taken by their father from his Morenci, MI home during a holiday visitation. The boys are still missing and the family is seeking help in searching for them. The timeline: September 2010, Tanya Zulvers, the estranged wife of John Skelton and mother of the 3 boys, received a phone call from Morenci Elementary School. They were letting her know that John had picked up all 3 boys for a trip to Florida. Tanya was not aware of this supposed trip, though John had talked about starting a new life in the Sunshine State since he had family in Jacksonville. Angry and worried, Tanya called the police, and they managed to convince John to come back to the Great Lakes State. Once John and the boys returned to Michigan, Tanya filed for divorce. Incensed, John then took the 2 oldest boys on yet another trip to Florida without Tanya's consent. Eventually, after traveling to Jacksonville Beach herself, the dysfunctional family unit returned home. Over the next few months, things settled down somewhat and Tanya began taking classes at the local community college. She gradually began to trust John again and gave him permission to have the boys more and more. Wednesday, November 24, 2010, Tanya allowed the boys to spend Thanksgiving with their father with the agreement that he would bring them back on Friday so she could take them holiday shopping. Thursday, November 25, 2010, Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner were last seen by neighbors playing in their father's backyard. No one has seen them since. Friday, November 26, 2010, around 4:30 a.m., John's cell phone pinged in Morenci, but he drove southwest out of town. Friday, November 26, 2010, around 5 a.m., John's phone pinged once again, this time in Holiday City, Ohio, just over the border. Friday, November 26, 2010, around 6:45 a.m., John returned to Morenci, but there was a concerning gap of time between the ping in Holiday City and the ping at home. Later that day, Tanya became concerned when she stopped hearing from her soon-to-be ex-husband. So, she went to John's house and found it empty. John had gone to the emergency room for a broken ankle, which had happened when he attempted suicide by hanging. There was no sign of her sons anywhere. Tanya once again called Morenci police and they issued an Amber Alert shortly thereafter, as the boys were considered endangered due to their father's recent erratic behavior. Once police gained access to John's phone records and computer data, they found some unsettling information, including a Google search for rat poison. November 30, 2010, John was arrested and charged with 3 counts of parental kidnapping. December 16, 2010, John once again changed his story, but refused to provide many details or explain himself further. See below for more information. January 16, 2011, at another court hearing, John once again provided no concrete information regarding the boys' whereabouts. February 2011, the Morenci Police Department changed the classification of the Skelton disappearance from missing persons to homicide. However, it is extremely difficult to prove such a case without bodies or forensic evidence. Everything about John was circumstantial at best. Because of this, he could only be charged with kidnapping and unlawful imprisonment, not murder or even manslaughter, despite the investigators' conviction that he was indeed guilty of filicide. He pled no contest to these charges and was sentenced to 10 to 15 years for them. 2013, Morenci Police Chief Larry Weeks requested that the Michigan State Police take over the case. He did this to prevent the case from going cold, as the state police would have more access to funding and resources that the Morenci investigators simply did not have. 2017, the remains of 3 children were discovered in a Montana shed, but DNA testing proved that these remains did not belong to the Skelton brothers. May 2019, an Ohio woman came forward and claimed to have seen John and his van on Thanksgiving in 2010. The lead compelled police to search a densely wooded area near Holiday City, but they found nothing. Also in 2019, an author named Lynn Thompson published a book about the case titled 76 Minutes. The book's name comes from the approximate amount of time during which John's phone was turned off in the early morning hours of November 26. Thompson narrowed down a small area different from the female witness's lead where he believed the boys' remains could be buried. So far, he hasn't been successful in recruiting law enforcement to search this location. The conflicting stories initially, John claimed that the boys were with friends and that they would come home soon. Then, they were supposed to be with a woman named Joanne Taylor, a friend of John's. The purpose of this, he said, was to make sure that they wouldn't be in the house when he ended his own life. No one named Joanne Taylor has been connected to Skelton. Later, he said that he'd given them to an underground Amish community to be raised by a new family/protect them from abuse. When interviewed, members of the Amish community said that, even if the boys were with them, they would not hide them from the police or their mother. While the Amish do not use cars or electricity, they keep themselves aware of current events through newspapers, and the boys' pictures/stories have been shared widely over the years. In the 12 years since their disappearance, Skelton has not provided the boys' true location. He has maintained that he never heard them, but that is a small comfort considering that he likely knows exactly where they are and just won't share the information. Tanya has been a vocal advocate for her children and has stated that she will never stop looking. John has been denied parole several times since his initial imprisonment. If you have any information regarding the Skelton brothers, please contact Michigan State Police at 517-636-0689 or the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 800-THE-LOST 800-843-5678. Alexander's photo is shown age progressed to 17 years, Andrew's photo is shown age progressed to 19 years, and Tanner's photo is shown age progressed to 15 years. They were last seen on November 26, 2010. Alexander was last seen wearing black pajama pants and a gray shirt. Andrew was last seen wearing brown pajamas with orange trim. Tanner was last seen wearing camouflage pajama pants and a Scooby-Doo shirt. Andrew Skelton. Alexander Skelton. Tanner Skelton. Andrew Skelton. Missing since Nov 26, 2010. Missing from Morenci, MIDOB Nov 20, 2001. Age now 21. Sex male. Race white. Hair color brown. Eye color brown. Height 4'1". Weight 57 lbs. Andrew. First of all, he is too smart for his own good. He does great in school and is so proud of that. Andrew kicks butt in video and computer games. The only game that anyone can beat him at is Guitar Hero. We will play it and continue to play it until he loses more than one time in a row, and then he will want to switch games because he knows he can win them all. We call him the National Enquirer as he must have really good hearing. He knows everything you are talking about, and if not he will ask, who is that or when did that happen? We just have to laugh. Out of all the boys he is the most timid and quiet. If he has to ask you something he will sit on your lap, gently tap you, say your name and tell you he has to ask you something. Too cute. Alexander Skelton. Missing since Nov 26, 2010. Missing from Morenci, MIDOB Nov 4, 2003 Age now 19 Sex male Race white hair color brown eye color brown height 3'9 weight 45 lbs. Alex Alexander is the daredevil of the boys. He is lucky hasn't had a broken bone yet, several stitches though. He is all boy, loves jumping his bike, climbing, racing, getting in the dirt. Alexander loves to start water fights with his sisters. He will just go grab the garden hose and start spraying. Since he is a typical boy, he is always getting into trouble. Alex loves cell phones, working or not, fake or real. When he sees your phone he will ask, "Can I see your phone?" He buys fake ones at the store, but really loves going to his grandpa and grandma's Uvers because they had their old ones that the kids played with. They can charge them and the cameras still work. He likes grandpa's old one, it has a belt clip to go with it. He will hook it on his pants and thinks he's the coolest. When it comes down to it he is a lover. He will sit on your lap, love on you, watch TV, or just sit talk. He thinks he is so spiffy in his glasses. Tanner Skelton. Missing since Nov 26, 2010 missing from Morenci, MIDOB Oct 20, 2005 Age now 17 Sex male race white hair color blonde eye color blue height 3'6 weight 40 lbs. Tanner is by far the storyteller of the boys. He has the greatest imagination. He can tell the most far-out stories or tell something that really has happened. He will get you to believe it and then tell you no, it really didn't happen and laugh. The best was when he made Papa Don think his teacher taught him to do some kind of dance. We all believed him, and then out of the blue he said, "No grandpa, I was just pulling your leg." Tanner doesn't like tomatoes, will not eat anything if there are tomatoes in it or around it, including ketchup. He is the baby of the family and it shows. The lover, cuddly one, and he gets jealous fast. Big sister will go sit on mom's lap and tell her, "Ew, I love you mommy." She says it loud enough for Tanner to hear and he will come running and try to get right up on mom's lap too or make Sissy get up. Tanner really looks up to all his siblings. He doesn't want to be left behind, so he always tries to keep up and do what everyone else is doing. He doesn't really like to share, he likes to play games, especially Uno Mu. His sister it for him for his birthday and after he losing one time, he started cheating and thought we didn't see him. After that he has always tried to cheat at any game until he wins, but he usually gets caught. (1) 800-843-5678 Michigan State Police, Michigan, 1-517-636-0689